All right, let's try this again. Welcome back to Living with Classic. I'm out here in the workshop with my 1977 XJ12. Been doing a couple small things to it. We have new tires on. I'll show you that in a little bit. And then I replaced the radio. I replaced it again just because the one I put in a while ago sometimes wouldn't work. And I found one that I liked more because I really wanted to have something that's just black and silver just to make it look really nice. I found a nice Pure Correct Pioneer. I rebuilt it, everything works perfectly in it, and now it's in the car. So I'll show you guys what that looks like, and I'll show you guys the new tires as well. Then we'll pull this car out and we'll get the XJ6, which really does need a little bit more work. There are a couple small things need doing on it after the winter. Got a small leak from the radiator cap, and that exhaust is still banging a little bit, so gotta do that. And we gotta put the summer tires on, which were on this car before, so they're sitting in here, and that's why I did everything in this order. And I thought we could take the tack out of the XJ12, which doesn't work, see if it works in the XJ6, or figure out if it's a tack issue, if it's a wiring issue, or what's going on. So hopefully I can figure out what it is, get the right part, and hopefully fix that as well. But let me show you what I've done to the XJ12. We'll pull it out and then we'll get the XJ6 in here. Got new tires on my polished Kent wheels. Went with some Hancock tires in the correct size. They're 205 70/15s. I borrowed a friend's set of Kent wheels with these tires on them, or the exact same ones, and I really liked them. They're nice and quiet and good grip, and they just felt really good. So I thought, you know, I'll buy a set and try them out on this car, because you know it can sometimes be hard with tire sizes with these cars. But I'm gonna try these out and see if I like them. But I think they look good. The white walls, I mean, that was a look, but I prefer the white walls on the green XJ6, and then we'll go with black walls on this one. Make them look a little bit different, the two cars. But this one I've started to polish up again, because that's the thing about them. You gotta, you know, polish them every now and then. It's probably 5 or 6 years ago I did it last. This one I've started a little bit, and then some of the ones in the back, you know, they still look pretty shiny, but I can definitely clean them up, make them look a lot better. It's just half an hour spent on each wheel, and they look fantastic. Once again, I have put in a new radio. It is a Pioneer unit. Well, you know, it's like 50 years old, but it's Pure Correct, and everything works as it should. Got cassette, of course. Can't play any of that, but I can turn it on, just show you that. Yeah, it does work, but don't want any content match. And yes, the electric aerial in the back does go up, and all of that works as it should. So really pleased with that as well. Also, this radio has something I really like. When you put in a tape, the aerial goes down, which I think is really nice. You don't have to have the aerial up when you don't listen to the radio. But I'm gonna pull this car out. We'll get the XJ6 in here and start working on that. At the same time, I can remove that tack and see if it's the tack, the wiring, or something else is going on. Got them both out here now. Thought I'd let this one just idle for a little bit so I don't turn it off right away. Also, now when it's a little brighter out, you can actually see what the radio looks like. I think it looks really nice. But let's see if the XJ6 fires up. Been sitting out here for a couple days. And yeah, it really does need a wash as well. I've got so much pollen now, but my new garage is almost finished, so then the cars can go in there and not have to be subjected to pollen. Yeah, that's not bad. That's a good way to fire up. I'll pull this thing into the workshop, then I will start on the tires, put those on, and and then we can start with seeing if this tack works in that car and vice versa. And then we got the exhaust to sort out and a little coolant leak. Car is up in the air now, everything is cooled down, and this is the coolant issue. You see all of that up there. The cap is new, so what I feel happened, like, it's supposed to be tight now because it's moving around, so I think it's not clamping down as it should. It's a really common issue when these get old, so you can usually bend them back into shape carefully. And let's see if I can get this off. And if that doesn't work, I do have a spare one, but I don't have a gasket, so I'll have to make a gasket if that happens. But yeah, I need 2 hands to get that off, and then let's see what it looks like. So the cap, as you see, is brand new, in very good shape. And yeah, there it's definitely pretty low. So, and it's bent in here, so that's not going to help anything with it tightening. There, it's pretty, that one's pretty good. But this one is all bent in here. So I'm gonna get some pliers and just try and bend all of this back into shape, and then let's see if it's any better. A little bit of fiddling later with a screwdriver and a pair of pliers. So now the point where you put the cap on and turn it is the highest, and then these where it locks into place is the lowest, and there are no dips anymore. One thing I need, this is just some 1200 grit sandpaper on the board, and I should probably glue it on, and the board's way too big. But I'm just gonna go back and forth here. That way we can see if we're getting a nice even contact area. And it's not too bad. There are a couple low spots there and there. So I'm gonna see if I can continue that a little bit more. It doesn't have to be that perfect because there's quite a thick rubber gasket holding all of this into place. But now there's really only one tiny low spot, so we'll do it one more time. Still a tiny low spot, but it is where it clamps the most, so I think it's gonna be fine. We'll bring you guys in for a closer look. So you see that is the only spot that's not shiny right there, but I can't really even feel a difference. So I think we're gonna try see if the cap goes on. It's sort of moved to the side there a bit. I think I need 2 hands for this. This seems to be more of a 2-handed job. Let me just see if I can. It's doing something weird when it's sort of twisting sideways once it gets on there. Let's just see if we can sort of figure that out. Maybe it's these little pipes here that are interfering. Gently push those down a little bit. So it's going up on this end. So I think that I should try and bend this part down a little bit here. Maybe I can just hit it with the back of my screwdriver. Yeah, it's been close there. I'm gonna grab some pliers, get this part down a little bit there, and then I think it should be good. This is pretty much as good as I'm gonna get it. It goes on pretty well now, and you know, it's not loose at all. And I think it's going to go well. I have to give it some light love taps with a hammer and an extension. And yeah, everything seems to work as it should now. It's not And there's slight movement, but there's always slight movement on these because it's only crimped right there. It doesn't have, you know, the support of pressure cap, which has, you know, the valve going down. But I think that's going to be tight, and it's good that it is tightest at the place where, you know, I had that little dip. So I'm going to dry up all of this, and then once we have everything else back together, we fire it up. We got to see if this is tight or not. Otherwise, I need to replace it. With that leak hopefully fixed, next thing I want to do is try the tack from the XJ12. Got it right here, and I have removed the tack here, but I just wanted to try because I don't remember if they're grounded through here or separately, so I just want to see if the tack works with it taken out. The reason we're also taking the tack out is because the light bulb in here is broken, so I was taking it out anyways. But let's fire this thing up and see. Okay, so we got no tack, and if I ground it, you see it went up to 900 RPMs there. So definitely working as it should. Now turn off the car. I'll disconnect it. It's the same connections on the other one. I'll put the XJ12 one on there, and let's see if that one works. All right, let's try this again. I almost felt like it was moving there for a second. Nah, it doesn't seem like we have a working tack. We did for a second. Alright, it's working now. I mean, the scale isn't the same, so that's not really an issue, but okay. Tack is working, so that is very, very strange. Just went down to the XJ12, put in the XJ6 tack down here, and let's just see if that one works, because then we can, you know, rule out if it's a wiring or what's going on. All right, that is so strange. So the only thing I can think of is that when the tack has been in here, it's had a bad electrical connection. Let's see. Okay. Well, I mean, it's doing something. Let me go get the V12 tack and let's try this again. Got the correct tack back in. So let's see if it works. This is really, really strange. Connections are all there. Let me just try disconnecting it and connecting it again. Nope, it's not working. So I don't know. We can take this apart maybe later in another video, but I think there's something wrong with the tack. The only thing left is the ballast resistor up front, which sends out the tack signal if there's something wrong with that. Because it was also weird that the other tack, I understand that it would read higher because of the cylinder count, but that as soon as I revved it, it died. So that seems really weird as well. So something is going on, and I have checked continuity from the cable over here to the ballast resistor, so that is working. So definitely something else weird going on. All right, it's a little while later. I got the tack back in, but remember I said I took them out just to replace some of the bulbs. I had a burned out bulb in the tack and one in the voltage gauge, but I ended up replacing a couple of them that looked a little dark as well. So now everything lights up very nicely. It's hard to tell on camera, but it's really, really nice and clear. Some people like to put in LEDs. I am not a fan of it, also because they work fine as long as you put in the correct bulbs and just replace them. Some people complain that the lights are dim. Well, after 40 years old, of course they're dim. Just put in some new ones and you'll be surprised at how good they are. I use these original Lucas bulbs. These are the correct 2.2 watt ones, 12 volts, LLB 987. You can still get them. I think they're pretty much the same for any British car with Lucas electrics. They all seem to sort of use those. And one other thing, of course, to check is the potentiometer here, which sets the brightness of everything. Because if that isn't working, then it can be very dim. But mine's working correctly, and they turn up really nice. Unfortunately, they don't look that bright on camera, but they are. And everything works again. So that is one thing checked off the list. So I've been under here a while fixing the exhaust issue. Didn't film it because it's, sort of boring and not really a major issue. It's just at low idle, so not fully warmed up, but when the choke just turns off and you're in drive, it, that would knock. And it was right up in there. So the S part of the exhaust that goes through the IRS was touching and rubbing against the brake caliper. It's pretty close now. There's probably about a 5mm gap now. Same on the other side, but that side was touching. And honestly, I'm not that impressed by the fitment of this exhaust system. I've tried to rehang it several times, just can't get it to be perfect. So I think over there, actually, the next solution would be to take that pipe out and to heat that up with a torch and sort of bend it in there to give it more space, but not going to do that at the moment. But it's an aftermarket stainless exhaust and it sounds really good. It's really throaty. This car is far from quiet. It's very throaty. It almost feels like a Mark II, but yeah, it's hard to get it to fit correctly. But now I can shake the exhaust wherever I want to, and it's not knocking or moving anywhere all the way back. So that should be really good. But I thought while I'm under here, I'll give you guys a little bit of an update. 2 years ago, I did some rust proofing on this car, underneath and of course in everywhere. This car was already rust proof before, so in some places where it felt like the old rust proofing was in place, I just scraped it and added some new on top. And it's been subjected to 2 pretty harsh winters of winter driving, and I'd say this isn't really bad. There's one place where some old underseal has gone off, and I'm going to show you that's here. This is really the worst of it. Right here, I just peeled this back a little bit with my fingers, but that's really the worst of it. I mean, it's solid. It's just a little bit of surface rust here. So that will be a project before the winter. And this is the old style underseal that I really hate. But wherever it was stuck on pretty well before, I let it be. But I'm just going to be on top of this whenever I see it getting loose like this. Get underneath here with a wire brush, rust convert it, and then continue. This is by no means a perfect car, like we talked about before. Let me get my flashlight. However, it is pretty solid. And I don't want it to be perfect because I want to drive this thing. That's the whole point, to be able to drive a classic Jag all the time. But you see, everything else in here is just really good. Same goes on the other side. Let me see if I can show you this. It's hard, but yeah. You see, we got a little bit of surface rust here as well. This is a damage that's been with me as long as I've had the car. Someone has broken the tab off the jacking points. I need to replace that at some point, or just that little piece. The rest of it is really solid. But I'd say that is really not bad after 2 winters of driving. The last thing I need to do is remove the studded winter tires, put the white walls back on. So that's the last thing I'm going to do with the car up in the air. then this thing should be ready to go out and be my daily once more. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of tinkering time both with the XJ6 and the XJ12. The tack issue with the XJ12, I think it may be the ballast resistor. Really hard to tell because I think it's just something weird, and that's the only part of the ignition system I haven't replaced on that car. So I might as well replace it just for, just as a good thing. However, I'm just not going to buy one and throw away the money if that's not the issue. So I'm going to borrow the one from the XJS when it's back, or if I go up and visit it, I'll take this one off and then swap them over, because I know the tack works on the XJS. Anyways, I'm going to drive this now a little bit as my daily for a while. I've been using the XJ40 while I've waited for the tires for the XJ12, just because can't drive on studded tires after the 16th of April. So that's the last time I've driven this thing on the road. But that'll be really fun to start using this thing again. Hopefully coolant issue is solved as well. And some other things. There will be some other small things. We'll probably do a similar video in a little while of other small things that will come up when I start driving this more, because I'm finally actually driving a little bit more now. So hopefully we'll put a lot of miles on this thing and see how the new engine performs. But so far, I'm really happy with this car, and can't wait to do more things to it. But now I just want to go out and drive it. Anyways, if you liked this video, please give a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.